Either way, it's very nice for Polt that he gets some momentum, and this is of course what we want as well. We want to have a lot of close series throughout this tournament. If you just joined us, this is the very first best of 3 that we're broadcasting of the group stage play. It is a crazy round-robin format with 8 players eventually in a group. Right now we only know 6. We do know that the 6 players in the group are very scary, as Trap is in this group as well. And later today, or tomorrow I should say, we are also going to see the 2 players who will make it out of the open bracket being placed in this group. But for now, we're just kicking things off, and from this point on, this is going to be round-robin craziness, StarCraft 2 action.
And I'm really shocked that the next map is going to be Habitation Station, because I have no idea how these players are going to play this out. We could even see a lift right at the beginning. Let's hop into the game and see what happens.
I was thinking about it as well, Sean, but as we can see on the mini-map, that is not happening, as we are currently looking at our Zerg player over here on the right top side of the map. Finally dropped the map against Polt, and normally that is definitely nothing to be ashamed of or nothing to worry about, but we almost forget that that was possible, that he is able to lose maps in this matchup. It is of course Ace's very own Scarlett.
And up in the top left-hand corner, pulling a fantastic comeback win in Game 2. It's CM Storm's Polt.
Now I truly wonder what we are going to see in Habitation Station, because this map is so different. Earlier this week they have played on Habitation as well. Of course, if you play 7, 8, 9 maps against the same opponent, eventually you'll pretty much go through the entire map, because if you lose twice on Way Station, you don't want to pick it again. What we did see on Habitation Station, what we did see is that Polt was going to try to go for one of those crazy, scary Hellbat pushes, but this is just not one of the best maps for it, because of the ramp there is in the natural. You need to have high ground vision, and above all, it's very easy to create SimCity as a Zerg player with 2 evolution chambers and maybe a spine crawler or a queen on hold position. It's going to be very easy to defend against stuff like that, as Hellbats will only be able to shoot 1 by 1. So I don't think we're going to see that. But then I do truly wonder what we are going to see this time from Polt. Is it just a traditional 3 command center opening and try to take control of the Zellnaga Watchtower old school style, but then perhaps with a few more Wither Mines in the mix than he tried in his first games against Scarlett?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be one of 2 possibilities. The first is to do more or less the same build that he did in the last game, except not turn into Hellbats at the front, harass with Hellions at the front, and then do the Marauder drop in the back. We saw him do that previously, and it's a perfectly reasonable build on this map. The other thing, though, the one that I'm really interested in, he might just not do any early pressure. Just stick to his guns, get that 3rd expansion up, get 8 barracks rocking, and just macro Scarlett to death.
Once more we see the extractor go down in the main base of Scarlett. It's not very likely, but it is possible that Scarlett is going to switch things up and that she might bring out something crazy, maybe a big Roach Bane play, especially because this is one of those maps where it's possible that Polt is going to play very greedy at 3 command center opening with a bunch of engineering bases as well before additional Rexes go down, which is one of the most economic and macro-oriented openings there is.
For sure. At this point, I like the choice of going speed. This is almost like variance reduction at this point. You don't desperately need speed early on, but, well, don't want to have anything kooky happen. We've already seen Polt capable of cheese. We've already seen him capable of timing attacks. Let's just get the speed up to be safe. Polt with his characteristic Marine move out, and I love this. It's almost like Polt gets the same units as everyone else at the same times, but he just attacks. He just does cool things with them.
He's just looking for an Overlord. Last game, of course, in Frost, he did get that one very nice Overlord kill on the south side of the map. Would have been awesome for him to get something like that once more. He's just going to check with these 3 Marines and should not be able to get a whole lot done. He might be able to cancel one of the creep tumors, though, and that is, of course, always nice. If the Queen wastes his energy in this phase in the game on a creep tumor, it would be fantastic for these little Marines to prevent one from going up and spreading creep early on. Going to keep a close eye on the production tab, because speed is more than halfway down, but Scarlett is not mining any gas, so it is unlikely that Scarlett is going to do anything crazy. And so far, nothing crazy on the other side of the map either for Polt. We see the factory being thrown down, the reactor being added to the Rexes. So far, Sean, everything is standard. We don't see 3 command center openings, and we don't see anything crazy from Scarlett either.
I just really like the comfort that both these players are having with their usual styles. And, oh, we're seeing something new here from Polt. 2 barracks, an engineering bay. Polt saying, you know what, you're not vulnerable on 2 bases, but you might very well be on 3. And that's when Polt is intending to strike. We're going to see Hellions at the same time, but Scarlett, every single match they've played together, she's been up against something with the starport. So I think Scarlett's going to be very caught off guard by this suddenly Marine-based play.
Yeah, this is very different, and the Marines were in the front. Were also able to prevent one of the creep twins from going down. They picked it up immediately, so the creep is going to be spread a little later. And what also really works in the favor of Polt, while a few Marines might actually not make it home in time, 1 or 2 will fall, 2 might survive, and these Zerglings will not be able to go for the run-by. Actually, Scarlett picks up all 4 of these Marines. That is definitely very nice, especially because the follow-up from Polt will include a lot of bio units. What I tried to say, Sean, I think it's really cool. Scarlett will not send out a whole lot of Overlords against Polt. Why? Well, because 9 out of 10 times, Polt will open up with that quick Viking that's going to kill all these Overlords. So you don't want to lose them. You don't want to send them out every single game and then end up losing those Overlords all the time. However, Polt is using that to his own advantage, and he's going to try to surprise Scarlett with a crazy aggressive 3-Rex opening with a bunch of Hellions. And this could be very scary.
Ooh, it's going to be aligned with Combat Shield, N+1 attack, and stim. Scarlett, though, always gets that safe early Baneling nest, but I think what you mentioned is the most important thing. Look at Scarlett's vision. She sees 1 Overlord at the top, and nothing else is too much poached forward. But that's a big signal. You expect Polt to get the Viking, and you're going to start saying, where's the Viking? Where's the Viking? Where's the Viking? Where's the Viking? Uh-oh. No Viking. I better get a Baneling nest. I better get spines.
This is really cool, though, because do you think that, this might sound ridiculous, but do you think that Polt might even pull SCVs?
Ooh, that could be a clever one.
Because there is no third command center yet. There is only a single engineering bay. There is no sign of an armory. And I feel with the way that everything is lining up, that Polt is just going to go for the crazies all in. I might be completely off, though, but that's kind of what I'm feeling now.
This move from Polt seems like pretty much only good, with one exception. Those Hellions are abandoning the most normal defense line. Normally these Hellions are here so you can take your third. So if you're Scarlett and you see the Hellions willing to go out of line, willing to abandon the usual defense place, you go, there's no third.
Scarlett has no map vision now at all. There are a lot of bio units making their way across the map, way more than normally we see in this phase in the game. Combat Shield is about to finish up, Stimpack is about to finish up. There's currently only 4 Banelings out on the map for Scarlett. This is actually very, very, very dangerous, as there is so much potential DPS in this bio hit squad. 4 more Banelings being more, but Scarlett's going to need more as he drops the Spire and more drones are on the way. So he's still underestimating how scary this really is, because this is very, very scary, Sean. This could be game ending.
Scarlett, though, with her characteristic patience, she's waiting, she's trying to get into a good position, she's waiting for her Baneling count to get high enough, and there's the spread. Hellions try to advance.
Hellions doing a really good job. They don't want to soak up all the Banelings. They want to get a couple of juicy shots off, and they might succeed in doing so. A few of these Zerglings are doing some serious work on the Marauders, though. So far it's still pretty okay for Scarlett, but there are more and more and more bio units making their way across the map. The Queens are very exposed. I really feel that this is going very good for Polt.
Polt's managed to break through. Morlings in production. Scarlett's extremely defensive, extremely cautious opening style might still get busted by Polt's excellent early attack.
All of these drones in the right bottom side of this map will get fried by these Hellions, and more bio units are making their way across the map. A few Zerglings are going to try to jump on the reinforcements, and for now they will get the job done as they have a nice upgrade advantage. It's 1-1 against 1-0. But still, there's so many Hellions. The army supply is so heavily in favor of Polt. It's 60 against 19. Polt has successfully tricked Scarlett.
Looks like, wow, Polt is... Polt ain't messing around. There is no third command center in sight. Polt is getting more barracks. Polt is completely adapted after 7 almost straight losses to Scarlett. Has carefully readjusted himself to a very, very new position.
And I really like that he does it on a map like Habitation, where it's just a lot easier. If you want to do something crazy, well, if you just take away map control, before you know it, you're on the other side of the map with your bio units. Look at all these Hellions. There's an armory going down now as well. And now there is a third command center, but that almost feels like a third command center. I'm so far away, so far ahead now after my aggressive 2-base opening. Don't worry, guys, it's a macro build. But actually, Sean, it wasn't really a macro build, because if this push wouldn't have killed all those drones, if this push wouldn't have killed that hatchery, there's no way that Polt can transition into a normal game.
Well, Polt, in the meantime, is starting to hedge his bet on ending the game immediately by getting the third command center, continuing to get upgrades. Second engineering bay is down, so it looks like Polt is starting to say, you know what, Scarlett, let's go take it into the long game. I'm ahead 40 supply, maybe even more. I like it. I like the way that Polt is playing this game out.
Yeah, he's up 10 workers. He is getting that command center, so he has something to fall back on. But as long as he keeps the pressure on, it's going to be extremely difficult for Scarlett to do anything other than making Zerglings and Banelings. There is not fantastic creep threat. He's only on 2 bases. So he does have a Spire, and he has a few Mutalisks out, but how many Mutalisks can you truly produce on 2 bases? It's a lot easier when you're on 85 workers and you're mining off 4 bases.
Well, I think that Scarlett's entire style is, you know what, I don't need a lot of Mutalisks. What I need are Banelings, and we're seeing the Baneling count be, again, uncharacteristically high for the position she's in. And they're really the wild card unit. Even though Scarlett is down 50 supply, if she gets those good Baneling plants, she can absolutely win.
Well, then these Hellbats must feel very, very lonely and hug each other real tight, Sean. Otherwise, they do not think that the Baneling number is just high enough. There are currently 15 Hellbats on the map against 18 Banelings. So as long as Polt does what we know that he's capable of and that they spread those units properly, I don't really see any possible way for Scarlett to get a good engagement. It's 177 supply against 112. That is bizarre.
Polt is being so patient about this, waiting so long, and Scarlett is not getting the chance to make drones or build extra geysers or tech. Polt is waiting, maybe even until he has 2-2, maybe even until his expansion is fully defended before making that big attack. But it looks like he's swinging around to the backside to make sure that Scarlett has the worst attack angle possible.
He's pretty much maxed out now with 120 army supply. 2-2 is 60 seconds away from completed. He has to be a tiny bit careful. You don't normally want to fight right before your upgrades will kick in. But then again, he has so many more units that he might as well. He has the high ground too, so these Widow Mines will be burrowed in good positions. He's going to lose 1 or 2 of them. Scarlett has made a couple of sick comebacks throughout the last week, so it might be possible. And here we go. This might be the final engagement of this series.
The big pre-split from Polt. No way. No way. Scarlett breaks through. Are you serious? No more anti-air. Scarlett's now advancing forward and picking off the Medivacs, picking off the Firebats, picking off the Marauders.
A 2-base Zerg, Sean. A 2-base Zerg. I don't even know what to say anymore. With Zerglings and Banelings against crazy amount of Hellbats, running up a ramp against Widow Mines that were in position.
Oh no. Oh, Scarlett's immediately stepping into action with her relatively small amount of Mutalisks, only 12 out on the map. But this flank is a pain in the ass to defend as Terran. So we're seeing turrets come up. We're seeing Polt actually be on the defensive.
Widow Mines are burrowed. We have to be very careful there. But Scarlett has bought so much time for herself now that she will finally be able to saturate that third base. Of course, the main and natural will run out a lot quicker for Polt, as he's been dropping Muse like crazy on them, as his third base was very late as well. I really do not understand. Scarlett was down a 60 supply in a certain phase in this game, and that was not because he was saving or that she wasn't spending her money. No, she was just actually down 60 supply. And now it's sort of like she still has a chance. Normally when a Zerg player is down 30 supply against a Terran, we still say there is no way. And it's currently 40 army supply down as well. But that last fight, that was pretty much as bad as it was going to get.
But it's one of those things that where it's difficult to even analyze if Scarlett's in a better or worse position, because it's all about the number of Banelings that were there. We're still seeing Scarlett getting great value, getting maybe 3 Medivacs, 3 Medivacs fall.
That is actually pretty huge. 3 Medivacs in the Starlight fight. There are still 6 left, so it's not the end of the world yet. We do have a drop on Polt in the main base, by the way, as well. And Scarlett, with very few units to work with, is going to have a really hard time splitting up her army properly. This 4th base is not cancelled either on the right bottom side of this map. So Polt is doing a very good job right now in spreading Scarlett in, which is, of course, the worst thing in the world as a Zerg. If you're not rich, if you don't have money for static defense, you definitely don't want to split up your army either, because you need all of your units in one place to even have a chance in the fight. Oh, look at those Widow Mines.
That would have been game ending. I mean, Scarlett has clearly shown the Baneling is her unit. That's her comeback tool. That's how she continues to swarm so successfully. And I think that this is a necessary risk Scarlett must take. Selecting the gold as her next base.
Doing some work with these Mutalisks in the middle of the map as well, getting 3 Widow Mines there for free. The Overseer might spot that extra Widow Mine there, but there are so many forces making their way across the map for Polt. Polt with his ridiculous macro as always. Scarlett is going to try to jump on this minor army on the north side of the map. will get one of the medevacts. Unfortunately, it's the empty one. At the same time, this is Polt's trigger to move forward and try to cancel the fourth base that wasn't there.
Well, I think Scarlett is in an oddly good position with this hatch at the gold, I guess, maybe. The one, I mean, the two pieces that are missing for Scarlett at this point are, one, the tech to Hive, and two, the extra macro hatches. Scarlett always overwhelmed with more Banelings, more Zerglings, and without the larva to be able to do that, and without the good drone count, Scarlett is going to have to play a very scrappy game.
There is a Widowmine that will get picked up, but for the first time in this series, you know, this is something that we used to see all the time in this matchup. Terran with 3-3 against Zerg with 2-2. Hive is not on the way, there's no infestation pit. Then normally things go from bad to worse. Polt is not supposed to lose fights when he's on 3-3 bio against a Zerg that's on 2-2 upgrades, especially not against a Zerg player that has smaller army supply, worse units, and not fantastic creep. However, Scarlett, her engagements have been fantastic over the last few days. This might be another one, as these Banelings are getting reasonable connections. But the upgrades are ready for Polt.
Oh, I don't believe it. Again, Scarlett manages to find the exact position she needs to thwart these forces. The gold is up and running. The drop at the south side only manages to remove creep tumors. Suddenly, Polt is starting to say, can I get enough money to win this fight? The main, the natural, running low.
Widowmines in the middle of the map, actually picking up the Overseer. That is a little bit frustrating. So Scarlett not able to pick up those mines for now. There is a hit squad on the south side of the map that's going to try to run into this middle line, but Scarlett did detect it with her Overlord.
Well, Scarlett really needs to get that Overseer back, and in action, we see no macro hatch still. The bottom right, oh, good timing for Polt. But I mean, the creep spread is really the insurance against these sorts of plays. Polt cannot find an opportunity to sneak in and eliminate a bunch of drones.
But with 3-3 against 2-2, I really love this. He's going to drop a couple of Marines on the high ground near the gold base. That is very frustrating to deal with, even when there are so many Mutalisks. There are a lot of Marines firing from the low ground as well. Scarlett not in a position to lose Mutalisks, as there is still that hit squad on the south side of the map that's going to run into either the middle line or maybe go for the hatchery. Starts shooting at the extractor. A little bit of a waste of potential DPS there.
Polt is doing a great job multitasking. Scarlett still behind in supply, but if there's one Zerg who can manage to pull this off, it is going to be Scarlett. The macro of Polt continues to send an unending stream of bio to mid. Bottom left belongs to Polt. Every expansion on Polt's sides belongs to him except one, and Scarlett continues to repel. Uh-oh. Big mine hit on the Mutalisks.
First Taurus in production as well. That's kind of funny. That is definitely not a bad choice against all these Mutalisks that are flying up so incredibly clumped the majority of the time. Somehow Scarlett finds the security to think that this is an okay position to tech up to Hive. The Mutalisks are doing a really good job in just picking up either those medevacts or those Marines that are being dropped one by one. If I was Polt, I would get a few more Widowmines closer to the edge. So if those Mutalisks fly in to try to work on those Marines, the Widowmines can get 6 shots off.
Another key counter from Polt. Will it be able to do a lot of damage? It looks like this is a more successful one. 48 drones remain for Scarlett across all her expansions, and suddenly Polt smells blood. He's going for the gold. Is this the mistake?
She should be alright. That's a good Widowmine shot there, by the way. A lot of Zerglings will fall immediately. Hive is about to finish up, but I don't think Scarlett is going to be able to do a whole lot with it. Polt is incredibly rich. He's actually running up to the high ground at the gold base now while he's losing that one hit squad. He's completely okay with this. There are a lot of Banelings in the mix. Banelings getting some sick connections. Scarlett is still alive, but Polt, during all this, has secured his 4th base, has secured his 5th base. He too will be mining up the gold base, or actually is already, so his income is still ridiculous. He is able to produce whatever the hell he wants, and this should be a fantastic position for him to work from.
Oh, there's the Thor hit. This is what has been missing for Polt all game long, some long reach to prevent Scarlett's phenomenal mine sniping.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot harder to deal with those 8 Marines that are being dropped on the high ground now. A few Banelings are going to try to take care of it. Oh, well, that was actually sick. The Mule is still taking care of that matter of fact. But this one turret definitely complicates things a little bit. The Queen will fall. There are a lot of Banelings. There are so many Widowmines on the edge of this south side ramp as well that it's really hard for these Banelings to roll in and try to get the connections they have been getting throughout this series so far.
Scarlett has yet to lose her patience, but Polt is starting to force the issue by advancing more and more and more ahead. A nearly maxed army versus only 115 Zerg supply. I don't know how much longer Scarlett can hold on.
This is a little bit sort of, you get a deja vu of Scarlett against Bomber, but I feel that this is an even worse position because the Terran economy is completely untouched. This time a lot of Marines will move forward. Widow Mines are burrowed in the middle of this mix, getting a couple of 6 shots off on these Mutas, taking quite a bit of damage. And I think that this is it for the gold base, and it might just be it for Scarlett, as a few Banelings will get connections. Is it enough to actually clean the rest of Polt's army up?
Oh, Scarlett forced to engage. GG! Polt gets his revenge from Red Bull Battlegrounds, and he has got to be feeling amazing after that win. Congratulations, Polt. Very tense series that we saw. Absolutely nailed by, even when Scarlett, we thought was dead in game number 3. Stayed alive and stayed alive and stayed alive and stayed alive. And I mean, as Polt, you gotta just even feel behind when you're way ahead.
Yeah, it was actually remarkable how long Scarlett was able to survive, that she was able to win that one fight on the right bottom side of the map. That was absolutely impressive. That should not happen when you're a Zerg and in that position. However, the problem is when you have no money, you might be able to survive a fight, but there will always be a next wave of terror, and especially when you play against Polt, it's not just 1 or 2 waves, it's non-stop waves for the majority of this game. But it's truly, you know, in the test of Scarlett's skill as well, how hard it was for a world-class Terran like Polt to win a game that should have been over at the 12-13 minute mark. When you get all those drones, when you get the queens, when you get the hatchery, and you sort of have a crazy contain on the Zerg that's on 2 bases. Of course, Polt's economy was not great because of the super aggressive, in my opinion, you can define it as a 2-base all-in play that, he opened with. But still, he was in such a fantastic position that it's crazy it took that long to win a game that looked so over.
Well, what's great about Polt's style, just kept taking more expansion. So even though the battles were trading, he eventually won the war of attrition. And in a moment, I believe we're going to have an interview with our first winner up on the main stage, CM Storm's Polt. I just still cannot believe how hard fought those games were.
No, it was a really cool series, and I love that Polt is also switching things up. You know, in game number 1 tries to open up with the 2-Rex, and in game 3 said like, all right, I'm going to open up like everything is standard, but this is habitation station, and you're probably not going to send too many overlords across the map because my Viking is just going to kill all of them. And you know, who wants to lose 5 overlords against Polt's hero Viking every single game? Then dropping the 2 hidden Rexes and then hitting that very strong timing with a few more bio units at the absolute most perfect moment. The moment Aspire goes down, the moment there are 6-7 more drones on the production tab. If all those units are Banelings, Polt is in a lot of trouble, but they were not Banelings because he did such a good job in hiding his build, hiding his hand, and he played it out fantastic.
I'm excited to hear Polt's thoughts on his own wins. Let's throw it on over to Axel Toss to find out.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Polt, for providing such a great series. Give it up for Polt, guys. Very exciting indeed. And the elephant in the room was kind of coming into today. We had that, I guess, that ordeal yesterday with Scarlett. How did that kind of affect you overnight, and what kind of preparations were you working on coming into today, knowing that she would be your first match?
To be honest, everyone knows I'm very famous for using just one build or the one same opening every game. So I just wanted to test that yesterday, and it didn't work. So I had to use all of my build orders today, and it worked.
Yes, it did. So speaking of the series, can you give me a sense of, or as far as your mentality is concerned, on how it kind of went for you? Did it go how you expected? What kind of adjustments did you have to make during the series to give yourself the victory?
In middle-late game, Zerg is favored. It's true, but in the in early games, Terran has more strategies to execute than Zerg. I mean, like I used practice 2-legs and some helmets. And at the last game, I used some 3-leg strategies, things like that. So Zerg has to figure that out. But Scarlett, so that yesterday we played 7 games. I didn't use that kind of thing at all. So maybe she didn't expect and didn't scout at all. So it worked.
It worked. It did indeed. Now, you have that victory over Scarlett. A lot of people considering one of the best players in the tournament. A lot of people kind of favored her over you today. Where does that place your confidence level? Now that you've taken out Scarlett, I feel like we both agree that she might have been your greatest contest, perhaps. Where does that place your confidence moving forward in MLG Anaheim 2014?
Actually, our match was not that perfect because we waited for a long time and we just played match yesterday too, so very tired right now. So it was not perfect. So even if you're perfect, I think I'm gonna do my best and probably gonna beat rest of all the players. And I think she can do it too. So hopefully we can meet again at upper rounds.
Before I let you go, do you have any words for this wonderful audience after that victory?
Well, thank you so much for cheering for me. And I will just predict. I don't know what word is correct. Anyways, you will see the same champions holding the trophy again this year.
Give it up for Polt. Thank you so much. Thanks for talking to me, man. Shake your hand. And best of luck throughout the tournament. Day 9, and Kevin, back to you.
Thank you so much, Polt, Alex. Honestly, I'm thrilled to see if Polt can do back-to-back Anaheim wins.
And that would actually be insane. He has done it before. He's one of the very few players that has won a back-to-back Premier League tournament. Of course, last year in WCS America Season 2 and Season 3, he was able to do it. If he's able to do it this year, you know, if you think back of 2013, that was a relatively surprising victory back then by Polt. And that sounds silly because later that year he won pretty much everything that he was participating in. But up to that point, he was just moving to the US. It was kind of quiet around Polt for a while. And there were a few big star Koreans back then coming over. Deer was here, I believe SOS was even here, or one of the other guys. And people did not think that Polt was going to be able to do it, but he did. And now, I think coming into this tournament, a lot of people were like, oh, Polt is a very good shot. But then after that, you know, that bopping he got over the last few days with Scarlett, then people were like, oh, it's probably not going to be Polt, but he might just do it again.
And you know, I think the most exceptional thing of all is that is just the first series that we're going to have for the entire weekend. There'll be 40 or 50 of them happening up here on the main stage, so stay tuned, because when we come back, it will be the second best of 3 at MLG Anaheim.